Welcome to Who Gets the China? This week's edition is about archiving your family's photo history and doing it before panic sets in. This weekend, I was on a girls' trip with a bunch of friends for the weekend, and I had the chance to see a friend who I don't get to see all that often. For the last year or so, she's been overwhelmed caring for her aging parents, dealing with their housing challenges, mourning the loss of a parent, and moving another into assisted living. So the short story of the version goes something like this. Her dad had a stroke, and after a stay in rehab, he went home into the care of his wife, my friend's mom. And as is often the case, she wasn't really equipped to provide the right level of care, but the two of them fronted pretty well, and it seemed like they were managing until they weren't. One day, a water main breaks and a flood ensues, completely compromising the structural integrity of their home and the safety of their inhabitants, the two of them. So now it becomes an urgent, if not emergency situation to get them into a safe dwelling and an appropriate level of care. As with so many of this with us, this had not been planned, and now it gets to be crisis mode when you just have to deal with it in that panicked situation. Sadly, my friend's dad passed away shortly thereafter. So this left the sorting of the home and all of its cherished items to the family when it became a rush to get the mom into assisted living. So instead of having time to sort of sift through everything peacefully and joyfully, they had to switch into what I kind of think of as get it done mode. Then you don't have time to process all the things, all the questions, all the stuff, all the history behind all the items. So you don't get that chance to kind of share with your parents about what these things mean to them and what is actually valuable and what's just sentimentally valuable because you have an estate sale pending and the house needs to get on the market and now it's a panic to get it all done. And one of the first things that my friend lamented was the complete overwhelm of trying to sift through everything, and in particular, the family memories, photos and videos. And I think we all have this kind of looming over our heads. You want to be able to sort through all these things and share them and learn whose ancient-looking aunt that is and who she's related to and what was her name again anyway. But there's no time for that when you're in crisis mode. You just have to scoop it up, put it in a box. Maybe it goes to storage. Maybe it goes with you, but you've got to get it done. Take time now, she said, when you have the time to go through these photos and videos and upload them. Make notes on the who's who while you can. That window to have those conversations just shuts on a dime sometimes, and then you don't have the opportunity to take your time and have fun doing it. So today at 5 p.m., I found myself lifting the dusty photo box from the floor and up onto my desk, digging out my DVD attachment from a drawer somewhere, and downloading Handbrake and Googling how to convert DVD files to MP4s to create something that I could actually view and save in iCloud. I started with my husband's family because that just was what happened to be on top of the pile when I opened the box. And I was excited that this turned up DVDs full of black and white photos and videos from World War II and even before. My father-in-law was in the Navy for 3 years during World War II. And I found this photo in the Post that was taken of him in Aldgate, London on June 30th, 1944, following the Allied invasion of Normandy on D-Day. And I love the photo because of the spirit and the youth and the happiness and hopefulness it shows in him, even though he's stationed in Europe during a major global crisis. He was stationed off the coast of northern Italy for part of his tour, and he was in a minesweeper ship that landed on Utah Beach on D-Day. And while it wasn't his normal duty, he was in that day part of the search and rescue mission to find wounded soldiers on Utah Beach and get them back on the ship and back for medical care. Later, he shipped out to the South Pacific via the Panama Canal in May of 1945. And luckily, while he was on his way, VE Day happened on May 8th, and his ship slowly turned around and headed back for U.S. waters, so he didn't have to go serve in the South Pacific. And then he married his lovely bride, my mother-in-law, in April 1946. So digging up this DVD unearthed all this incredible family history. And in these grainy sepia tone video, actually, I could see my mother and father-in-law. They were ages, I think, 20 and 22 back then, happy and flirtatious with rose petals being strewn everywhere and family cheering them on. Even though the videos are silent, they evoke the happiness and the joy of the day. And to be honest, it was hard to watch it and not get choked up. I also dug up this photo of my maternal grandmother, my mom's mom, and I love how happy and glamorous she looks in it, and I saved it and have shared it with a bunch of family since. So I know the outline of a lot of these stories, as probably you do too, but the details escape me, or maybe I never knew the details or anybody knew them. But I'm so glad in this moment in time, even if I can barely harness the incredible technology that's available, I can dig into my family history and I can capture it in some small way so that my girls and maybe even their kids can appreciate their ancestry someday. I know I'm just at the very tip of a very big iceberg, but I'm proud of myself for starting this daunting, time-consuming, and also meaningful task. And while my in-laws might not be on my planet to tell me all their stories, still so many relatives are here, and I want to take advantage of that gift while I can and capture and record what I could know. I even dug up a cute video we took of the town where my daughter spent her first 6 months where we lived before we moved to a new state. And I completely forgot that we even took the time, my husband and I, to cruise around town in her stroller and record the coffee shop and the pediatrician and the burrito place where we spent the first few months of new parenthood. I don't know how we did that as we were so sleep deprived, but my daughter had never seen that video. And some 20-some years later, I was able to share that recording of her first few months with her. So I'm off to check on the status of my latest scan. Please share your successes, challenges, do's, and don'ts for digitizing your family's archive. I'm just at the beginning of this journey, and I need all the help I can get. I wanted to acknowledge that I listened to a 10 Things to Tell You podcast, and she hosted Miss Freddie, a photo archivist based in Colorado. And on that podcast, I learned some amazing tips for how to start this journey of digitizing my photos and videos. And I'm really grateful to their encouragement and expertise that kind of got me started. And I wanted to say thank you. Good luck.